bad. Hi, my name is Juan Collazo, and I did my, presentation on the impact of race and ethnicity on sentencing of juveniles in adult court. So over the last couple of years, there's been a being tough ideology when it comes to juvenile delinquency. As a result, more juveniles are being processed in adult court. This creates a very interesting group. Within the justice system because as they are still children, they're being put into adult facilities with other, adults that are known criminals, I guess, at this point. And it creates a higher level of victimization as well as creates other issues for these juveniles. This is a quote unquote growing population because, I mean, not only as our population as a country grows, the number of incarcerated children is also going up, um, and this is why we need to create a better understanding um, and to understand the intricacies of this, subgroup. So in general, race and ethnicity when it comes to sentencing is very straightforward if you think about it. There's no news. It's nothing new that race plays a role. Um, Typically, blacks and Hispanics get harsher sentences than their white counterpart, um, and this holds true to even children or juveniles when they're sentenced. Um, there are conflicting studies that some studies say that blacks are treated the worst, others say that Hispanics are when it comes to sentencing. Um, and I couldn't find anything that was, I guess, definitive because there's just too many points of views that were conflicting. Um, but I guess the overall severity doesn't matter. It's the fact that there's a difference that is the issue. There's also various other factors that play into it, such as the location that in the country you are in, because we're talking about the U.S. Age and gender are also big parts of it. Age being one of the primary ones that the study looked at. Um, and then something that found pretty interesting is that all over the country, young minorities are more likely to be incarcerated than middle-aged white counterparts. And this is very interesting to me because we have an idea that when you're young, it's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them. But this statistic, in a way, or this shows that that's not necessarily true, since younger people are being punished more severely than middle-aged, which are supposed to be mature and be ideal citizens for the younger people of the country. So specific statistics of the study, this is now getting into juveniles. Over the almost 4,000 cases that were reviewed, 56% of them were black, 25% were Hispanic, and 19% were white. Something that I thought was interesting was that 97% of this all cases were male. Um, Not too shocking, since I guess males are more likely to commit crimes and stuff like that. Um, the study divided the cases by violent offenses, nonviolent offenses, and then drug offenses. A majority of them were violent offenses, and those are the numbers up there, as well as the sorting by region of the country. So there was Midwest, South, uh, Northeast, and Northwest. Those were the basically like five major regions of the country. And I thought that it was very interesting that nearly half of the cases were from the South. So this just basically shows us that the South has a much harsher policy when it comes to convicting juveniles compared to the rest of the country. Um, Nearly 70% of the cases were ended it with a sentencing of jail or prison. For those of you who don't know, prison is a institutionalized, um, I guess, process where like basically a company handles the incarceration in a way, and jail is like state run or like local government run. I didn't know that before this, or at least I didn't remember, and so that was something that I think should be clarified. And also a very important study or statistic is that 80% of the cases had priors, so it is not uncommon to have multiple repeats with the law once you are a kid and then going forward. Some interesting and alarming points were that there were various combinations of factors that improved one's chances of getting probation. For example, being black and being transferred through prosecutorial or legislative waivers greatly increased one's chances of probation, while being black in itself decreased the likelihood of probation. So the combination of these two factors impacted the outcome more than the sole factor of being black. And this was the case with a number of factors. This is just one example that I provided. And I thought that was pretty interesting. But still, the overall trend is that being a minority, whether it be black or Hispanic, definitely decreases your chances of probation and increases your chances of jail or prison. Um, Another thing that I found in a way alarming is that a paper, or it talked about a paper back in 1991 that argues that judges don't know the full story going into a case, right? So they take what they can from like observing the defendant and give what they're given during a case, and they read these cues, right? So basically, like social cues could be an example of them, and they use those to create a create basically a profile of the person. And oftentimes this can strengthen stereotypes, which is bad because we have some pretty negative stereotypes specifically of black people. One of the most common one being is a dangerous black offender. Um, if you look dangerous, the likelihood that you are convicted of or convicted or sentenced with jail or prison time is much higher. Um, Another thing is that this paper or the study was conducted in 2010, and up until then, there was only three other studies that it talked about that looked at similar conditions, so the sentencing of juveniles in court, and this just means that there needs to be more studies conducted and more information reviewed. Yeah. This is the poem that I wrote. Um, the future is what you make it is what I titled it. Um, we are told to dream that if we fail, we can just get back up and keep going. Mistakes can be made if we learn from them. But as I sit here unsure what to do, I think it was just a mistake, a slippery slope. What do I do now? Panic and fear creeps into my heart. I'm just a kid. I can't even vote. Maybe that's for the better. What would I know after spending time on the inside? I just hope that when I get out, it won't be too late. Let's take it day by day because the future is no longer mine. Maybe tomorrow someone will see what I really am, a kid. Um, and then this is the photo that I put with it um, because I don't know if any of you had run-ins with the law, whether it be for an actual crime or not, but there's something that when you are young and even just being questioned by the police, it's very nerve-wracking, and you get nervous, you get clammy. Even though you didn't do anything wrong, sometimes you just get just clammy, and it's just something that I can't personally relate to because I've never committed a crime or anything like that, but I have been questioned, and it is very, I guess, scary, and that's what I wrote about. And this is the source. I can attach the paper in the email that I sent to Pinter, but yeah, thank you.